What's up, Runway fans? It's your boy DJ Wun Wun back at you with another recap and review of All Stars, Episode 8, Once Upon a Runway. So this week we're off to Never Never Land, and all the designers are given a fairy tale princess for their inspiration. As they're finding out who they get, Liana gets Belle from Beauty and the Beast. She compares it to her growing up in the country on a farm, and she's ready to interject her own story with Belle's. So I guess that should be an interesting piece. Next we have Alexander getting Cinderella, and he can totally relate to her because they're both princesses, and he's a gorgeous tall blonde. You go, girl. For this challenge, we get a $200 budget, and they have one day to create their design. The judges want a new modern look for their clients, so good luck, and we're off to Mood. At Mood, the designers seem to have a different direction and game plan. They all seem pretty confident with their ideas, and it's full steam ahead. I'm looking forward to some great designs this week. Thank you, Mood. So we're back in the workroom, and there's no Alyssa waiting for them. Phew! The designers get right to work when they're back in the workroom, and Ken thinks this is Alexander's challenge. Liana can't seem to shake the feeling of being in the bottom the last two challenges, and she's afraid the judges are looking at her like she's the weakest link. So she's ready to rise up like a phoenix from the ashes and show that that's just not the case. Ken reminds us there's only 8 designers left, and he's worried for himself because everyone's great at what they do. He's so much more mature and humble this season. I so can't wait for next week to see him blow up. I ain't finna deal with it. He also, while eating lunch, brings up the fact that there should only really be 6 designers left. So it's lunchtime, and the shade is real. Team Keeney or Team Sam? It's time to pick a side, because it is definitely on. These two aren't holding anything back anymore. Then Ken chimes in and says, you know what, these two haven't really been getting along since the team challenge. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Keeney's still upset from way back in week 3 when he made that top for Sam and the judges just fell in love with it. Keeney, hold a grudge? I mean, this is week 8. Let it go. But how can he with Ken throwing gas on the fire? Keeney! Keeney! I didn't know you made that top for Sam. So much shade. Well, Zana arrives, and what the hell is she wearing? This absolutely qualifies as top 3 ugliest of all time. I mean, I understand this is a fashion show and you want the mentor and host to be pushing fashion boundaries, but this just looks like 2 drunk Muppets walked up and exploded on an English Amish school teacher. Speaking of Crazy Prince, Dom's done it again. She's about to put something wild on that dress for him. I just wonder if, as usual, it's going to transform just as magical as it usually does down the runway. On to Asha, and yay, another jumpsuit. Did they switch this to Project Jumpsuit and no one told me? On to Alexander and his Cinderella inspiration. Please, Alexander, I'm telling you, Zana's telling you, we're all telling you, make it fresh and young. Don't go old. Over to Liana, and it's not looking good for our Phoenix. Zana tells her she's seen this from her before and she needs to do something different. And I agree. On to Ken, and Zana basically says she needs to push himself harder and not to be boring. You know what's not boring? This dress. You know what doesn't look good? This dress. I mean, how do you critique somebody wearing something like this? I just can't. Over to Emily, and all we hear is Zana say this. Old lady. Remember what I said last week. Stay strong. Switch to Team Sam, and I do not like what I see going on here. It looks very student artsy crafty to me. But maybe he'll pull it off. But we all remember what happened to Stella. Crop tops on Project Runway, never a good match. And you know Keeney had nothing good to say about this. Keeney, so much shade. Speaking of Keeney, we see his denim dress and it certainly brings the drama. Keeney is a master with denim. But then we cut to Sam throwing some shade of his own. So it's the day of the runway and everybody's rushing around. Liana's starting to worry about her look, and so am I. It's not good. Another one that needs to be concerned about their look is Sam, but he seems to be totally clueless about how bad that outfit looks. He seems to really like it. He says, and I kid you not, he could see this in a Marc Jacob line. There does seem to be a lot of clueless confidence going on in the workroom, and I really don't know why. So it's on to the runway, and this week's guest judges are Kesha and Brad from Fashion Police. We miss you, Joan. Doesn't Kesha just look totally thrilled to be there? Now it's time to see who will live happily ever after and who will be banished forever. First up, we have Dom with her rebellious Tinkerbell inspiration. It's wild, sophisticated, and definitely looks better walking down the runway than on the dress form. Next we have Alexander Pope and his Cinderella inspiration. It looks fine, but how many times do you have to be told? It looks old. Next we have Emily in her Snow Queen look. To me this looks straight out of an 80s Devo video. I don't love it, but it's funky, it's fun, it's Emily, and for this challenge it's fine. The difference of the smile on Kesha's face looking at this and the blank stare she had looking at Alexander's look says it all. Now we're on to Ken and Snow White. I don't get Snow White from this at all, but as usual, the sewing and the details are meticulous and spot on. Oh, Sam, I get it. Mesh, net, fish, Little Mermaid, but this is just bad, and it's so much more than just the little side seam you're looking at. Very student, artsy craftsy, just not a big fan of this look at all. Ah, Asha. I love her take on Rapunzel and how it wasn't a literal train coming off her dress, but more of a modern twist. And of course the super long braid was a nice touch. Yes, a very cool modern take on Rapunzel. I was definitely a big fan of this look, and she was definitely in my top 3. Keenie! This dress is definitely Alice in Wonderland and very runway worthy. It's the epitome of business in the front and a party in the back. It's definitely the best thing Keenie's put down the runway in a while, and I think he's got a good chance of winning this one. Maybe the Sam rivalry will actually do him some good and push him to keep coming up with even better designs. Good job this week, Keenie, but leave the bullshit alone. Come on. Last, and yes, I'm sorry to say, very close to least, we have Liana and her Belle-inspired look. Very boring, very ready to wear, very not fashion. I'm guessing it's going to be 3 weeks in a row on the bottom for Liana. So this week, Ken and Emily are both safe, and I can't really disagree with this decision. I'm with the judges on this one. That's where I had them both. So the judges all seem to really like Keenie's denim tea party dress. Isaac says it borders on costumey, which it kinda does, but it definitely feels like a real runway look. You gotta love Sam. Georgina asks him if the sleeves are different lengths on purpose, and he just instantly says, "Oh yeah, yeah." Then, "Oh wait, are they?" Just lost. And of course Keenie's just eating it up. Grow up, Keenie. I don't know about crop talks on Project Runway. To me, it's like, think again. Oh, Isaac. Did he really just go there? Really, Isaac? Nobody? Really? Well, at least we all know what we're the most famous for. On to another bottom look with Liana's Bella-inspired design, and the judges just aren't buying her story at all. The story they are buying is Asha's Rapunzel look. All is right with this design, but Isaac and Brad are going to wrestle over the shoes. Next is Alexander doing Cinderella, and he came out immediately talking about wanting to make it modern and fresh. And I'm sorry, but this look is none of these things, and the judges agree. Sophisticated, old, and off-putting were the words they used. But Isaac loves you, darling. And back to a top designer, Dom with her wildin' out Tinkerbell. Look, what can be said? The judges absolutely loved it. You just can't help but to think that Dom is on her way to Fashion Week. So it's off to the workroom so the judges can deliberate, and I can't wait to hear all this valuable input from Kesha, because I know when I think fashion, I think Kesha. Well, at least Brad's there. Alexander and Liana seem to know they're in trouble, but Sam is seriously confused about why he's in the bottom, and that says a lot about his taste level right there. And of course, Keenie's right there to lay it on. I really think he needs to chill out. He stepped way over the line, and he needs to realize we're not in 6th grade anymore. So the judges have Dom, Keenie, and Asha on top this week, and so do I. I believe these 3 are far and away the strongest looks that went down the runway. And of course that leaves Sam, Alexander, and Liana on the bottom. Pretty cut and dry, no debate here. I think Sam's is the worst, and he's the one I would have definitely sent home this week. But he's got that whole thing going on with Keenie, and that's good TV, so you know he's not going anywhere. Speaking of, I think I'd have to give the win to Keenie this week. I think this look is, I think it notches the other 2 by a hair, and I don't know. I like Asha's. I love the twist with the back of her dress, but I think Keenie just one-upped it just a little bit. But I'll probably be wrong. Let's find out. So the judges have made their decision. Let's bring them back out. Keenie, you're safe. You may leave the runway. Well, I would have gave him the win, but the judges didn't even have him in the top 2. Well, maybe Dom will go back-to-back. Nope. The winner is Asha, and I can't complain. This was a really good look, and it translated great to the story. Now, Keeney could take lessons from Asha. Did you see how gracious she was, talking about how it was such an honor to be in there with the other winners? Take notes, Keeney. And now to the least successful designers. Sam, you had a low score, but you're safe. We knew they weren't getting rid of Sam, not with all this Keeney drama going on. Liana, you gave us a dress that looks cheap and tasteless. Ouch. A little harsh, Alyssa. Alexander, we wanted modern and fresh, and you gave us inexpensive and old. Come on, it wasn't that bad. The designer eliminated tonight is Alexander. Damn. And Liana leaves the runway in tears. 3 weeks in a row on bottom can shatter anyone's confidence. Stay strong, girlie. So this week, Asha won and Alexander went home. All in all, I think the judges were pretty much spot on, all the way from who was in top, who was in bottom, and who was safe. So no complaints out of me this week, judges. Good job. So that's my review for this week's All-Stars. I hope you guys liked it. If so, please thumbs up it. And if you guys want to see more videos, subscribe, and I'll keep them coming. So until next time, it's your boy DJ Wun Wun with another straight review on fashion. Until next week, ta-ta.